If you've been teaching in Belize for more than a decade, chances are that you are a recognizable face in education. The face of your favorite teacher is not one that's easily forgotten, and in the small country of Belize, running into past students is very likely. This situation is a daily occurrence for Vice Principal of Belize High and Elementary School and teacher of over 50 years, Diana Asueta. She detailed her extensive background in the field to us.
I started at age 16, and my first place of working was St. Mary's, my alma mater. And shortly after going there, probably 2 years into it, I went to the Teachers College, got trained, and I was called back immediately after finishing internship to go and lecture up there at about age 19. So I was lecturing teachers at that age. And then I went to study in England. No, backtrack. I did my ACP and all that, then went to England, came back, did part-time at Teachers College, returned to St. Mary's, did ACC, but at that time it was the only other private school. So I did that, and then on to St. Mary's again, Queen Square, Grace Primary, and now I'm here. But each time it was like 7 years, so I think God had a hand in that.
Asueta says that she never intended to become a teacher, but it was God that brought her to the profession and the love for children that kept her there.
I'll be very honest, I did not want to teach. I'd seen my mother do it, and I was convinced it was too much work. But my belief is if God wants you to do something, He will get you to do it no matter what. So despite my preliminary dislike for it and not wanting to do it, I was convinced shortly after that that's what God wanted me to do.
I know you've been asked a couple times to retire, you've done so much already, but you always keep coming back. So why do you keep coming back?
The children. I believe you have to love children. And if you love God first, that's my thing. It kind of works this way. You love God, that's this part of the cross. And God calls you to do His work, so the arms stretch out, and then you work for others. And in that case, it's the children for me first. You have to care enough for them. If you don't have the passion, don't bother with teaching. Don't bother.
Asueta describes her teaching style as thinking outside of the box. She explained that it is important to engage children in their learning experience in ways that are easy to understand, but also challenge minds and inspire creativity. Now a teacher at Belize Elementary School, Dania Samuels, a former student of Asueta's, told us that this philosophy is now present in her own teaching methods.
I remember in Standard 6 when we had big projects to do, and you wouldn't realize it at that moment in Standard 6, but once you move up and you go into your high school and you start your jobs, you realize how much that role played in shaping how you would do in your job, how you perform as well. So it really helped actually. You don't know it then, but you know it now. Ms. Asueta, especially now, has made my teaching experience here a positive one. In cases where I'm not sure about something, or I think that maybe I could do something a bit differently, I would go to her for advising, and she really helps me a lot. So I really appreciate having her here.
Asueta's influence as a teacher extends beyond her students, as teachers working under her guidance also express appreciation for her mentorship. Kendra Hoare, a fellow teacher at Belize Elementary School who has been teaching for over 11 years, explained how much Asueta has impacted her.
My teaching style definitely changed because she tells you what you can do, and she doesn't only tell you to change something, she gives you ideas, she sends you links, reinforcement. She's very good at helping you whenever you need help.
And what's one thing that you try to implement into your classroom that you hope will leave a mark on your students?
Something that I try to implement, and I got this from Ms. Asueta, is to think outside the box. I encourage my students to make sure that we are not ordinary, we are not basic. We are the best, and so we think like the best and we act like the best. And as Ms. Asueta say, we think outside the box.
Asueta is renowned for her creative teaching methods. However, she explained that teaching extends beyond knowledge. Her goal is to help children become better people.
My belief is you don't teach students to know. you should be teaching them to be. And I've always held that as my goal. Teach them to be a better person. Teach them to be a good citizen. Teach them to be the best they can be. Teach them to use interpersonal skills and that sort of thing, you know. Yes, you can give them content, but especially in this day, that's not needed. I can pick up a phone and get whatever I need to know. So why spend hours teaching content that I can get in a few minutes? Teach them to be the best of what or who they can become.
For teachers like Samuels, the emotional impact they have on students is something that is treated with care. She said that being able to offer emotional support is something she's learned to do over the years. What does it mean to you to be a teacher?
It's a loaded question. What does it mean to be a teacher? For me, it means being there for my students, most important. Yes, the teaching is important and getting through to them the curriculum, but also being there for them emotionally as well as physically being there for them. So it's very important for me to impact them emotionally first. Once you're there with them and they know that they can talk with you, it's easier to teach them going forward.
Much like Samuels, the connection she makes with students is one of the most rewarding parts of being a teacher. Seeing how her pupils have grown is the highlight of her career.
There are so many. The ones that stand out for me are like now, because I taught you, yes. And I remember those days when we were doing English and see now you're using it. I remember things like Keon Griffith being in my class and now he's this huge artist. But I don't only remember the persons who have made it big. It's like walking down the street a few months ago and a student ran across the street through the traffic. He said, Miss, and gave me his history and what he's doing. So you remember instilling us, we have to do our best and telling me what he's doing. Those stand out for me more than anything else.
Britney Gordon for News 5.